So this week, I decided to use the skips for my responses, but I still really enjoyed hearing what everyone else had to say and going over the materials later. To start off, I think that analyzing music and the music industry is just really important, and I'm glad we got to do it, especially hip hop, because I feel like it's just becoming more and more relevant. It used to be a smaller group of people listen to it, now it's becoming very mainstream. But I like how Hannah mentioned that she likes looking at the story behind the music and stuff in her synthesis video. I definitely agree with that, so this was a really cool week. But anyways, I think it was cool that we got to look at hip hop because of the relevance now and today, and just the things that hip hop usually talks about. Maybe in mainstream media isn't very normal. It isn't as appropriate as like pop music and whatnot. So I think we have to take into account that more people than ever are going to be listening to this, which include very easily influenced people and like, younger children. So we have to make sure like the values are right that we're putting out there. But I think that music and ideas should not be censored in fear of a young audience or influenced audience, because that could take away a lot of value from the controversial topics. But I also just think it should be considered what values are being represented there, just like any other media, like in movies and whatnot. If we're disrespecting women or being crude, people are gonna listen to that, and that's what is being represented. Anyways, there are such amazing artists, like the one in the materials, and I agree a lot with what everyone in my group has said. It's no secret that this music exploits women and has in the past, and it's run predominantly by males, which impacts how female artists do their work as well. And it gets hard to just get up there as a female artist once you're there. I feel like you're easily going to be persuaded to do what they want to just get your voice heard and get the popularity that you need. I really like that Maddie brought up Nicki Minaj, who is talented and great, but definitely is an example of women hypersexualing themselves to get heard. And then once they are heard, it's not the voice that they want out there. She has done really great things too. Like last year, I know she was giving out tuition to people that just on Twitter that needed help, because one of her fans like tweeted her asking, and then she gave out to, I think it was like over 10 people. She just gave them money for tuition. But that's not what you're going to hear about her. But she's not just taken as seriously in the industry. There's nothing wrong with women expressing, though, their sexuality, but they should not feel like they have to, and they should not be shamed for it later and not taken seriously because they do this. Because a man can do that and is completely fine, and they're still taken seriously in the industry and they're applauded for it. I think the standards for women in hip-hop are a lot different than for men, and it's been like that for a long time. But I do like seeing more female hip-hop artists become successful, such as Cardi B, who is a new one who's quickly rose up and kind of become popular in the genre. And I like that she started off pretty much on her own. She has some featured songs and whatnot, but I know Nicki Minaj started with just featuring in all other songs with all males in it, and she had to like work her way out of that. But Cardi B kind of did her own thing from the beginning and got to see like what her voice wanted to be heard. It's hers. She got to choose. So hip hop, it seems, is finally able to have just female artists. When it seems like there was only room on popular songs for a feature of a woman in the past. Just something I've noticed too is that women in the industry too take themselves more seriously than the men in general, I think. And I think they do a lot more good with their platform once they get it. And I think it's a lot harder to get that platform, but once they do, they make it really worthwhile. So for example, Rihanna is just an amazing person, and I'm obsessed with her. And I love her music, but she also has always stood up as a strong feminist, and she was always telling off reporters when they were being sexist and wasn't afraid to do so. And she just won Harvard's Humanitarian of the Year award. She's doing all of this while having a successful music career. She takes herself clearly very seriously. And Beyonce obviously is a really good one. And then also she stood up and would always share her beliefs, and that reminds me of her Black Panther performance. She protested police brutality, how she's not afraid to take a stand on those controversial topics, even though if it means the people that listen to her don't agree with it and don't like it. And Maddie brought up in her response how we should not ignore the politics behind this mainstream trendy music, which I completely agree. And it reminded me of Lady Gaga's performance at the Super Bowl, even though it's not hip hop. But a lot of controversy about immigration was going on because when is it not? And everyone praised her for keeping her Super Bowl performance not political, when it actually really was if you looked closer at it. She sang This Land Is Your Land, which is an anthem for immigration, and people just chose to look past that and really not look any deeper into the actual political meaning of it, which I think happens a lot. But I really enjoyed analyzing all of this music and hearing all of your responses.